Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, audience discretion is advised. Welcome to Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is James McCarthy.
My name is Brady Davis.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
We are missing a Jody Kite tonight. Yeah. He is under the weather, so it has drastically changed our scheduling. So instead of the quiz for the Battle of the Soul of the Omnibus, we're going to be doing some storytelling exercises. It's going to be great. Thanks to
related to fantasy.
Thanks, yes, obviously related to that, but through the Story Engine deck, the Deck of Worlds, and Lore Masters deck. So that's going to be pretty.
Must be really easy to do a bit when all you have to do is press a button.
Yeah,
you don't have to be creative or anything.
Do you want to have access to?
No,
you sure?
I'm too lazy for that.
Okay. Oh, you're too lazy to push a button.
Yes.
Oh my God. There you go. All right. There you go. Well,
I look at Vanna White and I'm thinking, man, she was working too hard.
There you go. Are you too lazy to tell us what you've been doing this week?
No.
All right, let's do that. Brady,
so the last 3 episodes of Andor dropped Tuesday. Yeah, dude, like this is some of the best Star Wars stuff ever. I'm not gonna say it's the best thing, but it is probably the best thing that that Disney has done. The only thing that even comes close, I think, is Rogue One. And if you like Rogue One, and you haven't watched this series, please, for God's sakes, go watch this, because there's only 2 seasons of it, because the 3rd season is Rogue One. And I don't think that's a spoiler, because it's from a character that, you know, if you've watched Rogue One, you know he's there. So really great writing. All the characters are interesting. Characters that in the 1st season you didn't even care about. You're like, oh my God, this person is great. Everybody is giving like top-notch performances. It's some of in all of Star Wars, it's some of like the best written women. Like every single woman in this whole entire show is like phenomenally written. And that's on top of all of the men who are also phenomenally written. Like everybody is great. Some of the tensest in this season, it was some of like the tensest episodes. Like there was a couple of episodes in the first one that was like really tense, but like these are, man, there are some like really interesting things that happen. I think it adds to the lore of Star Wars. Yeah, I think it's great. Absolutely great. So definitely I would highly recommend watching Andor. It's some of the best, episodes of TV that I've seen in a very long time. Also got a couple of things in that I'm going to talk about. I ordered the books for this RPG called The Land of Eem, EEM. It is described as Lord of the Rings meets the Muppets with a tiny bit of Mad Max dystopia in it, because it is kind of like a post-apocalyptic area, but it's almost like cyberpunk without the cyber. Like it's the area is owned by like corporations, and there used to be this great like king, but then they went away, and now the corporations run everything, and they're fucking up everywhere. Like there's an area called the Used to Be Forest, because it used to be a forest. It's all just stumps now. Yeah, it's got a lot of interesting mechanics in it. It's all it can be kind of serious and dark, but it's also mostly lighthearted. Like you can be a frog guy. You can be a gelatinous goo if you want to. You can, some of the classes are, hey, you want to just be the loyal chum. You just want to like pick a guy and that's your best friend and you get to buff him, but you also like buff everybody else too. Like you can cook really well or something like that. Do that. Excuse me. You want to be like an enterprising dungeoneer who has like a crew who follows him around. You got that. You can be that too. It's got a lot of cool little things and little mechanics. The set was like a really cool price because you get the core book, which has a whole lot of really good information. You get a monster manual, and then you get a gigantic sandbox adventure where it's like everything is divided into hexes, and you can just pick a spot and have your guys go there, and then and then just get into hijinks. I've flipped through everything. I've looked really closely at the core rule book. I've flipped through and read a few things with the sandbox adventure and the bestiary. Really funny, really interesting beasts. Like there's a caterpillar that is just like a cat that's kind of has like 6 legs and antenna and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing. It was made by Exalted Funeral, who I've talked about before. They're a really great company. And it was kind of pitched as like if you look at their explanation of it, they'll talk about it being like a starter RPG, and I can see that, but I think that it has a little bit more meat on it than some of the more like OSR type simpler RPGs that I've been like kind of diving into lately. So I'm really looking forward to like doing some stuff with that. It looks very, very interesting. And apparently when I brought it up here, I sold it so well that Jay was like, yeah, I'm buying this.
Yeah, I bought the entire deluxe edition just because of the presentation. Like the extra doodads and bits are fantastic. But overall, I really enjoyed the system. Another thing, let me heap on additional praise for Exalted Funeral. As soon as you buy it, you get the PDFs. They're and they literally, I think I got the email that order received, and then like 2 seconds later, here's all your PDFs.
Yeah. Like
I
think like 90% of the stuff that you order from there, they just instantly give you the PDFs. Everything that I've ever ordered from there has had the PDFs. So you get that automatically. It comes the deluxe set also comes with a set of dice and some really chunky meeples. It comes with a GM screen, which is pretty helpful, and then it comes with basically it comes with the map of the world, the Mucklands, which is where the adventure area is, which is just like a board game board. Like it's not just like a little small map, like a paper map. It is a robust board that you unfold, and it has all the little hexes and everything, so people can see like, okay, we're heading this direction. Because travel is a big thing. There's a whole like there's mechanics for like traveling over land and what are you gonna do, and there's mechanics for like when you set up camp, what are you gonna do, and there's even a thing like, hey, you want to sit around and like talk to each other and tell stories. Here you can do some role playing with that. They have a really cool thing where there's like adventuring XP that you get, and you get as a group, but then like individually, if you act on your flaws or you act on your backstory or anything like that, or your personal quest, you get experience for that. So you can get experience by yourself, but also as a group at the end, there's like, here's ways that we throw. Hey, did you encounter a new creature? Everybody gets an experience. Or, hey, did you act on a flaw? Hey, get that. And the character sheets, like they explain all of this stuff and like how to use experience. You can use experience to level up, but you can also use experience to make your stats better and stuff like that. So
I'm really big on like character design, especially like NPCs, player characters that you can have. Yeah. Everything looks really, really good to me.
Yeah.
And it's just the right amount of like silliness to all of it. That also shows like, okay, there's obviously a lot of thought and time put into all the designs of everything, from like player characters, NPCs, and monsters that you encounter.
Yeah.
It all looks amazing.
Yeah. There's just a lot of little mechanically it's very interesting, and then the world is also pretty interesting. Like you said, it's kind of silly, but it's also it's also like there is like danger and stuff like that. So it's not like completely lighthearted if you don't want to be that. In fact, like in the Mucklands, when you have like a quest or an adventure or something like that, they're like, there's like 3 levels of it. Like the first level is like, this is just fun little hijinks, and the last one, and think what's a really silly one? What they gave examples like really silly one, and then there's like, this is just kind of like a solid, like this is kind of a middle of the road adventure where there is a little bit of danger, but it's not like super super dangerous. And then there's like, oh yeah, like the first one is like think Labyrinth. And then the last one is like this is a deadly dangerous adventure. Think The Dark Crystal. Like so they have like different levels of it. I think the middle ones think like Princess Bride like level of stuff. So yeah, and it's really interesting how they do how all the stuff is written. Like the sandbox adventure is just like packed with like characters and hey, here's this here. It's like separated into areas, and every area is like, hey, here are like the central conflicts of the area. Here are the problems that you might count. Here's a big town, but then there's also little settlements, and then there's some of here's just a landmark that they might see. So it's really, really interesting. I really like those books, and I think that they were well worth the money. So I would definitely suggest like checking those out. On a quicker note, the backer kit for Liminal Horror finished today, so that's cool. They got a whole bunch of their stretch goals, so I'm looking forward for updates for that. Then also I know recently I talked about listening to the getting the new Coheed and Cambria album, and a while back I ordered the special edition box for it because I am crazy. It finally came in because they had some there were shipping issues and all kinds of stuff. It's really cool. It comes with like this big giant helmet that a character in the story wears. It's got like spikes on it. It's like clear with spikes on it. And then like it's like these little goggles on it, and you can like program it to like light up for different things. I haven't like played with it any, but that looks cool. And then it comes with like a whole storybook of like the story of this album. And I'm kind of reading through that from a little bit. The writing of these is not phenomenal, but they've never been like, I've read several of their like books that they've had come out. Like one album, there was just like hey, the special edition comes with a novel that's the story of this. The writing isn't phenomenal, but the stories are interesting. The characters are interesting. What's happening is interesting. This one ties in with a lot of stuff that happened in one of the other sets of stories in one of the other albums. So that's cool. But yeah, so I got that in, except for one other thing, which we're all going to talk about because we all want to talk about it. And I know if anybody knows,
if you know us, we will talk about it.
Yeah, if you know me, you definitely know what I'm itching to talk about. But I will save that until the end.
3 out of 4 lists. Ethan, go with your week's worth of things.
My week worth of things is 2 things. One is a whole lot of Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I played Persona 5 for the first time,
mm-hmm.
and I just kind of like jumped into it wholeheartedly and allowed it to consume my every moment of my free time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the end of Act 2. There's 3 acts, so I'm almost finished with the game, roughly. There's so much customization with it that you can have. You can play the game in various ways, like an all defense build, all attack builds, or just like middle of the road balance builds. Where I might have accidentally found like a good combination of attributes that you can have, like passive attributes, where I'm just dealing max damage to everything all at once. And while you're going through the game, and after you acquire all party members that you can have at once, you're given an optional side quest that's meant for like late game skills. I didn't know that, and so I kind of brute forced my way through it and instantly jumped like 30 levels where I'm like severely over leveled with everything that I'm supposed to be doing in the main story quests. And it's just really it's a really fun game, and I'm doing a disservice talking about it like the way I am, but it's just a really good game, and I highly recommend it to those that enjoy like turn-based combat RPGs, it's just really good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the game.
I might even say I see this possibly being Game of the Year. It is so good. But yeah, one other thing, but I'll get to that later. That's me.
All right, then I guess then I'm up. Okay, so a couple of YouTube things. So I'm a big fan of Dungeon Chill. He does a lot of Japanese video games, also a lot of like older video games. And his most recent video, I'm going to say this right now, it is the front runner now for my YouTube video of the year. It is his review of Time Twist, which was a 1991 Nintendo Famicom Disk System RPG. And to read off the story bits is kind of like a Stefan from SNL gag, because it's got everything. It's got time travel, Museum of the Demon, Joan of Arc, Hitler, Cerberus, 1860s the South, and the demonic possession of one of the most important people in all of Christianity. So I highly recommend. It's insane. It's insane. The people that brought you Super Mario Brothers 3 brought you Time Twist, except they didn't bring it to you. They brought it to Japan. It never showed up here in America. There isn't even a translation for it. It's just it's got everything. So just the premise and the presentation is enough as well. But Dungeon Chill, he has this very dry, very solemn kind of delivery, but he also has, like, he introduces humor, especially some of the just insane shit that's in this game. This was the perfect subject for him, perfect video. Again, this right now is my video of the year, so check that out, Dungeon Chill. The actual title is Nintendo Wants Us to Forget This Game Exists. But I think
I've seen the thumbnail for that.
Yeah, it's a child inside of a pentagram.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's Time Twist. I want to just a channel in general. Their name is Syntopicon, Syntopikon. Syntopicon is a very fun channel. I love it. He talks primarily about movies. About 20 minutes per video, give or take. He also has a bunch of shorts, which are basically chopped up from his actual videos. Just a fantastic presentation overall. Very informative, very fun. He treats everything very seriously, but every so often he will drop fun things in there. Anytime Harvey Weinstein comes up, it is just a very quick insult and then move on. It's almost it's just very good. I love his presentation style. I actually, on his most recent video, I actually sent him because he releases on Saturdays, and I usually catch him during my lunch hour. And at 20 minutes, it's a really good space of time. And I just thought, thank you for putting these out on Saturdays, because it's something to look forward to. He immediately responded back. And,
that's nice.
He does that, from what I can tell, like his videos, like that first hour, 2 hours after a video's been out, like he's in the comments, talking with everybody and keeping the discussion going. So I really appreciate that from him. His most recent was Risky Movies That Flopped. It's very simple subjects, and you can get into it. And he goes into them very well. Like I said, the average time I think on it is around a 20-minute mark. Yeah. So it's a very easy, quick view. If you want to get a bunch of them in an hour, you can get about 3 in an hour, and it's really good.
I've watched a few of his things. He's pretty good.
Yeah, so I appreciate him. Wish him well, and hope he continues putting out great content. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Oh, before the big thing. So Dragon Quest III. I'm back on. There's the town, and the town's name is 4 question marks. The first time you go there, and it goes, "Hey, I want to build a town, but I need a merchant. Can you bring me a merchant?" So, if you have a merchant in your party, which is one of the classes of people you can hire on, you bring them over there, and you'll lose them forever. So, if it's someone you've invested a lot of time and resources in, don't do that. But just get a level 1 merchant from Alhan, and then you go over there, and it's like, hey, here's your merchant. Oh, thank you very much. Next, some story stuff has to proceed, and then next time, say, hey, you should go check out the village, see what's going on. You get there, and it has become the name of your merchant, Berg. So I named my merchant Gomez, so it's Gomezberg. Shout out to Christopher Gomez, friend of the show and us. That's funny. So so he starts building. He has a little merchant shop, and it sells a few little things. That's pretty cool. Okay,
That's funny.
do some more story stuff. You come back now. It's like oh man, he's playing his SimCity very regularly because he's like it's got an inn now, and the shop is being run by a child, and he's selling. And one of my favorite items in the game is the abradabracus, which is an abacus. It's a weapon used by merchants because it's a calculator. There you go. And then you stop by going, Gomez is building a dancing hall for dancing girls, which, again, everything seems to be on character, so that's pretty good.
If I know Gomez, that's exactly what he would do.
Went off, did more story stuff. Hey, you should check up on Gomezburg. Oh, okay. So this is the most recent checkup I get. He has a mansion, and the city's got a whole bunch of amenities, and it's great, and everything's fine, except the old man that wanted to start the town goes, yeah, you need to talk to Gomez because he's starting to push people too hard, and I'm worried about it. And then if you go in the corner of the town, it's people starting to foment an actual rebellion against him. And I don't know, because I to get the quest started, I looked up how to do it on a wiki. Yeah, and I was like, I can't look this up on the wiki anymore. I need to find out what happens. Yeah. Organically, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is one of the orb locations, because you need to get the 6 orbs in order to be able to progress the story to the next level of it. And so I'm just very curious what the fuck's going to happen here. It's going to be great. So yeah, that's what I've been doing in Dragon Quest 3. Now, on to the main topic of the first part of the podcast. Yeah. So there's this band. They're called Sleep Token.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, you bullshit. You both have heard of them very many times. So I will not allow that. Here, let me play something to that.
Quarters.
Okay, there we go. That'll work. That's appropriate. But no, it is kind of appropriate because this is their 4th studio album, even in Arcadia. Let me say this at the outset. This is one of my favorite album titles of all time.
Yes.
It just the evocativeness of this title without even having to put too much into it. Absolutely fantastic. 10 tracks in total. As of right now, who knows, there may be a special edition long ways away, but 10 tracks, comes in just under an hour.
Yeah.
And this right now, if it weren't for Hurry Up Tomorrow, this would be my album of the year.
I like hearing that. To be honest.
This is a very well done album. The 3 tracks you probably heard of because they've released these are Emergence, Caramel, and Damocles. Those they are good. I particularly like Emergence. Emergence was the one that kind of got me. Caramel for the trope is you don't know who Vessel is, and so there's this anonymity to him. But this is one of the most personal albums I've heard in a long fucking time. And Caramel in particular, this one to me ranks up with Limelight and with Hotel California in the metaphor of dealing with fame and dealing with the celebrity while also trying to stay an artist. I think it's an absolutely fantastic track. My favorite track so far, and again, this changes kind of almost, is the title track, even in Arcadia.
I'm glad you said that.
And Gethsemane. Gethsemane was also really good as well.
Yeah.
So, but right now, this gets a very strong recommendation from me. Right now, like I said, this and Hurry Up Tomorrow are probably the short list for my albums of the year.
Yeah.
I liked Skeletor, but it's in the shadow of both of these. Easily.
Yeah. That's I can't go back right now and re-listen and give Skeletor its due because all I want to do is listen to Even in Arcadia, especially the title track, which I am kind of obsessed with. There is some imagery and some of those lyrics are so fucking good. Jesus Christ. It turns out that the gods we thought were dying were just sharpening their blades. What the fuck? Oh my God. And it even you get even Arcadia is a great name, but when you learn what it means, because it's from a Latin term, et in Arcadia, ego, which means even in Arcadia, there I am, which means even in paradise, death is with you. There's actually a painting called Et Arcadia. It's these farmers looking at a tomb that has that inscribed on it. It's actually an interesting looking. It's not what I would have thought for that. It's an interesting looking painting. But the imagery that comes with this, for me, the other standout track is Look to Windward, the starting track. I like that some of these songs are kind of hey, this is what you can expect from a Sleep Token album, where it's multiple different parts and they go back and forth between, that's it. Ethan showed a picture of
that's the Nicholas Poussin, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, and they always have like some kind of imagery with this. The way they have these like crests for each song is very interesting. The way there is all the lore that they get is kind of like you pick it up. Like they never come out and say like this is the lore. A lot of stuff is like in people's heads, but there's this idea of these two warring houses, the House Viridian and the Feathered Host, and one says that the cycle must end, and one says that the cycle must endure. So there is kind of this idea of this push and pull of the band, or at least my interpretation is like the band wants to keep going, but there are all these like they have exploded in popularity. Like I didn't get in from the ground floor, but I'm glad that I got in like a little bit early to see this, because it's very fun to see. I think this might be the first time I've ever like really like gotten into a band before they super blew up. And it's very cool to see, but that leads to a lot of people like hating on them basically. Like when anything, especially in like rock or metal, becomes like super popular, a lot of people just like hate the shit out of it. But yeah, this album is great. I don't know if I like it better than some of their other albums, but it's definitely up there. It is no worse than like, it's not I wouldn't say it's like the worst album, definitely. Like, and there are some parts of this album that I am super obsessed with. But yeah, it's really, really fucking good. Love it. Absolutely love it.
When it came out on Spotify, I did like a brief listen through of like listening to the instrumentals. All of it's good. It's all amazing. But I haven't like sat down to like listen to each song like in depth.
Yeah.
I've only gone about like halfway through it. To me, it's so far it's a toss up between like Damocles and Dangerous as my two favorites so far. But Past Self is also a really good one.
Past Self is good.
I do. It makes me think I'm just in The Legend of Zelda: The Great Fairy Fountain.
Yeah, there are some like a lot of songs like start with these little like plinkling tunes that almost sound like
Look to Windward almost started like a chip tune to me.
Yeah. And then the beginning of Even in Arcadia like feels like something from like a Legend of Zelda or from like some kind of like fantasy JRPG almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I am absolutely obsessed with Damocles so far.
Damocles is really good, yeah.
And then while doing the listings and like looking at vinyls, I came across a very interesting post about the review of the album that I don't know how I feel angry about it, and just also confused on this person's absolute wrong standpoint. And as we were talking about it earlier, it is
fucking do the quote, man. Do the quote.
The paragraph goes, Even in Arcadia is a metal album made by musicians who appear petrified of metal's fundamental pleasures.
Screams, breakdowns, violence, riffs, exhilaration, exaltation. Instead, Sleep Token's major label debut mostly offers sanitized pop rap with all the sexed-up verve of Droopy the Dog. Their bumbling composite of a generic pop and trendy metalcore is both schmaltzy and dull, a vacant wasteland where joy, excitement, and intrigue, sensations that all good metal and pop should evoke, go to die. That was Eli N. Ennis from Pitchfork.
Yep.
Who gave them a 2.3 out of 10.
Yeah. Pitchfork sucks. Like they're extremely pretentious, and anything that like this is popular. Like if this would have been like an earlier album that wouldn't have been as popular, they wouldn't have said these things. And like they kind of just, they're really bad. Like I don't know, Pitchfork sucks. And all I do when I read these like reviews is I roll my eyes and keep going, because it's like, of course they're gonna say shitty things about them.
But like you mentioned earlier, people are entitled to their wrong opinions.
Yes.
And I will continue listening to this supposedly bad album.
Yeah. And one Anthony Fantano also gave them a shit review, although I don't know what. I didn't watch the review. I just saw read little snippets of it.
Don't care. I'm still listen.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have like, because they're like some online. They've gotten kind of an online fandom that is a little insufferable, which anything that gets popular like this, especially quickly, kind of does that. Where like somebody will give like an actual like honest review where it's like they're explaining like this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like. Overall, they were like they liked it, and then people will be like, no, you really liked you liked it way more than you actually said it did. You just didn't. And it's like, well, shut up. But yeah, this is a great album right now.
Certainly one of my favorites of the year so far.
It's either this one or the Coheed album. I don't know. This one's newer, so it could be a little bit of recency bias. But yeah, I really do enjoy this one. Something that I got away from that I wanted to also like they do some songs where it's like, okay, this is what I can expect from a Sleep Token song, and then sometimes they just like even in Arcadia, that you kind of keep waiting for this breakdown that never comes, and they like it leaves you wanting more, and I like that in song. It can be frustrating, but it also is like songs like that I do dearly love. The same Past Self
that's
is
what I was expecting with Past Self. Like it has the same like upbeat fantastical theme throughout.
Yeah,
and I'm just waiting. Okay, where's this? Where's it gonna get heavy? Where's all the like the intense like drum loops?
mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for it. It's a good song, but I'm just it's not there.
Yeah, but and for like when they complained like, oh, they're metal, but they're not acting like metal. It's like Sleep Token themselves have never called themselves metal. They have never once they've only done like 2 interviews ever, and in neither one of them did they say we are a metal band. I know we put them on our metal list, but that does not. But to me, they are really hard to categorize because they are kind of all over the place. Because there are parts of a song where you can listen to it and be like, this is fucking metal, and then there are other parts of the song and you're like, well, this part's pop, or there's a entire song where this part is pop. Like
Emergence is jazz.
Yeah, Emergence ends in jazz.
And jazz saxophones. That was actually an issue I had with some of the earlier albums, particularly what was the album that we did for the
This Place Will Become
Your Tomb? That's right. And because then the next one after that is
well, that was the second one. The first one was Sundown.
Third one's Eden, right?
Yeah, Take Me Back
to Eden. Yeah.
Yeah.
My problem with them, and I think they've perfected it now, is sometimes the two things. Actually, there was 2 things. One, the repetition of lyrics got a little annoying to me. Although I think Emergence, he did a fantastic job with the arms around, like that arms around me motif. I think, because the repetition makes the line envelop you the way the line is saying that it is enveloping you. I think they did a very good job. They mixed art and theme and words and flow, I think, very well in this one. The other part to all of this was, I typically don't like when my songs change genre and then there's multiple genre changes. But again, I think this was way smoother than it has been in the past. Look to Windward is a bit more stark because it goes from that, and then it immediately hits that screamo metal right there in the middle. Still works though. That's one. So yeah, no, I was greatly happy about this.
I think that's all that I have to say.
Okay.
Hopefully one day I'll get my vinyl. I don't know. I gotta go with this weekend. And
I have to go over there to see if the skeleton. Why do we keep giving him money?
I don't know. I might not. I probably won't do it again.
Yeah.
When I pick up this album, that might be the last time.
If I need more chaos in my life, I may buy another album. Maybe. I may order another album just to be on the safe side.
Another listening party.
Another listening party. Yeah. No. It wasn't a list. It was supposed to be midnight release night.
No. There was nothing to release. Into a listening party.
It just turned into a listening party.
I could have been across town and heard that.
I helped that man install some speakers.
Yeah. He had the last time I was over there, the speakers were out from the wall, so there was like this cavern, and it was just like filled with wire. It was like the Indiana Jones. If Indiana Jones,
he still had them pulled out a little bit.
Yeah, if it happened at like Rhino Records, it was fucking weird. But yeah, there you go. Yeah. So if that is the case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being passengers on the bus tonight. If you have any feedback for what we have been talking about here, email us at travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. Again, that is travelers, 1L, on the omnibus @gmail.com. Not here, Jody. Where else can they get in touch with Spotify? Yes, you can catch us on Spotify. Leave a comment on any of our episodes and take part in any of our active polls for this or any previous episodes where the polls are still active. Also, ladies and gentlemen, another thank you for being passengers on the bus this week. If you would like to share this experience with someone who does not listen to podcasts on the same things that you listen to podcasts on, we're available on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, YouTube Music through our YouTube channel, Travelers on the Omnibus, and iHeartRadio. Breathe in deep, exhale loud. It's time for the second part. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of Travelers on the Omnibus this week. So we initially planned we're going to have a great quiz. It was going to be for the Battle of the Soul of the Bus, and basically the person who wins it is in complete charge of June, what we talk about, and all the things like that. However, Jody is under the weather. God bless you, Jody. Get well soon, man. We miss you. So instead, we were going to engage a little bit of something that I have been doing lately, which is using the products from the Story Engine company, in particular the Story Engine deck, the Deck of Worlds, and the Lore Masters deck. And we're going to use these, create some fantasy scenarios or fantasy locations that we're going to maybe one day use in an RPG, maybe an RPG that gets played on Travelers on the Omnibus. So the first we're going to start out with the Story Engine. This is the first product, which, by the way, let me say this at the outset, this is not a paid sponsorship. If anything, I paid them for these wonderful tools and creativity things. Why are you touching? No, keep those. I had those there for a reason.
Okay.
I had the. I'm not eating.
Riveting podcast material.
Yeah, the motherfucker tried to. He was in the process of stealing my Twix.
But he caught me.
I have 8 Twix sticks, and he tried to steal them. And I didn't appreciate that. But there you go. So. Which, by the way, design, development, and writing for the Story Engine deck comes from Peter Chikowski, and really just a fantastic group of people that are behind this. From what I understand, one of the Magic the Gathering, lore and setting designers was also has had some work on this, and just absolutely, it's really fantastic. What I like to do lately is, right before I go to bed, I'll break out one of the decks and I will just create a quick little seed and then just kind of write on it for about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, it's good. Gets the joy of creation out of my brain and gets me in a nice mood to go to sleep as soon as I put my head to the pillow. And so it's been working out pretty good with that. So, Brady, you have in front of you the Story Engine deck.
Yes.
All right, so the first thing you're going to do is, if you want to, you can shuffle up the Agent deck, which should be the first one on the top left.
Yeah.
And then you're going to draw one of those cards. Each of these cards should have 4 choices on them. And we were going to, as soon as that is done, he's going to draw that and he's going to reveal which ones he has.
So, Jay, this Agent deck, what does this have in it? Like, what are we?
So the Agent decks, agents are pretty much people for the most part, and like the agents are basically the person that the story hook's going to lock into.
Okay, so drawing the top card. So we have an actor, a scam artist, an understudy, or a performer.
Okay.
I like, out of this one, a scam artist.
Okay. All right. A scam artist already. Yeah. Already we're starting felonious. I like this. Okay. So the next card that you're going to draw on this is going to be an engine card. And that's going to be the purple cards. Now, this is that character's motivation, what they're wanting to do, what they're striving for.
Dreams and aspirations.
Kind of. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So drawing the top one of this one. We've got wants to upstage a rival with/in, or wants to commit a crime with involving.
Are you sure you just didn't look at the back of the and pick one to go along?
No, I shuffled these.
Okay. That's very well played, though. Very well played.
Which of these is more interesting? Wants to upstage a rival with/in.
All right. Okay. There you go. Alrighty, so now you're going to go to the Anchor deck. Anchor is something, basically you're going to create something that character wants, or that character is looking for.
Okay. All right. Draw this one.
And this is another 4-sider, so you can have 4 of those.
Okay. A cave, a pool, a mineral, a statue. I think a statue.
Statue. Okay. All right. I'm going to add that there.
Okay.
Okay. Now you're going to go to the conflict cards.
Okay.
And these are going to be one of 2 choices on these. And conflicts are there to create obstacles or consequences for the character.
All right. Draw that. So we have, but they will have to keep a promise they know they cannot keep, but they must swear loyalty to something or someone they abhor. I think with this one,
Those are pretty strong ones. I like that.
Yeah, these are pretty evocative ones.
Yeah.
I think, but they must swear loyalty to something or someone they abhor. I think that fits with there's a rival that they want to upstage, and then they have to.
Okay, now the final one, you're going to draw one aspect card. Aspect cards are going to attach either to the agent or the anchor, and give them a description that kind of like hones down what they are.
Okay.
These are also always four-sided.
All right. So we have vast, chilling, young, or greedy. And this can go to either
to the agent or the anchor.
All right. We will. Greedy fits with the scam artist, so the agent themselves.
Okay. Alrighty. So you've created your story prompt, and so you'll read that out. Yeah, you read it pretty out in the order that you drew them, except the aspect will attach to to the agent or the actor, whichever one. So read out that story prompt.
Okay, so it's a greedy scam artist who wants to upstage a rival with a statue, but they must swear loyalty to something or someone they abhor.
Ooh, okay. So this is very strong. Okay, so immediately, what are some of the things you're thinking about? Like visually now.
Yeah, like my whole thought was like this is a guy who has this rival, but then something happens to where he has to make a pledge of loyalty or do something to where he owes this person that he is the rival with that he does not like, involving the statue. The statue might be something that might be like the object of the scam. That could be something like he's trying to get in the scam, or trying to be his rival with, or something that he's using, because sometimes when you're a scam artist you use like a prop with it, so that could be like a prop for that. It could be like the Maltese Falcon, or it could be something like something like he uses in the scam as his like.
See, I'm thinking he's a scam. He's an artist that like makes like cheap copies of like better artists' work.
That's a good one too.
And like, but in order to keep where he has to go into this competition, and this competition is with like with a sculptor who he's either copied before and been caught or things like that. And he wants to be able to beat him, but he knows if he does his own work, it's not going to stack up.
Yeah.
So he has to make this deal, possibly with the devil, to basically create this fantastic. But then he has to like be on the hook to the devil for that's how I see where that prompt going. Ethan, what about you? Where are you seeing him?
To me, I'm thinking of like scam artists, and one statue. One of the things that like came to me is like imagine if villains had like their own award ceremony in a sense, and like the statue could be like
they're called the Oscars.
Yeah, like their own like scam artist Oscars, like the little statue of the man holding like a gem or something like that, and he's trying to upstage his rival for like scam artist of the year or something like that.
So like a thieves guild is giving out like the thief of the year awards, basically.
The thievy.
The thievy. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask why it went there, but it just did.
No, that's fine. That's fine. What is the deal he makes with someone he hates?
More so. Okay, so
wait, it's not just hate. Abhors.
He abhors him, or her. Who knows?
Or her.
I think
someone
it's more so
neutral.
Someone that they probably did not want to go to for assistance, but it's more so they've run out of all other options, and it is hit their last attempt to upstage to get the upper hand of his rival.
Okay.
He has an old mentor who double crossed him, but is kind of retired, and he has to go to him.
He has to go back for one last job
to because he can't come up with the thing on his own to win it. He needs something to beat the rival.
Or an ex sidekick.
An ex sidekick. That's a good one too.
Maybe something like Bad Blood.
They double crossed him during a scam. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, no, these are very good. And see, like one prompt has created like 3 different people.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's very direct. I like that. You can go a little bit more complicated with it, but just for the purposes of introducing it to the audience and just introducing it here, I think we're just going to leave it at that. But one of the key things that I love about this series is during the introduction, there's 2 rules. First one is don't put the deck away until you create something. It can be a word in your in a notebook or an idea in your head, but whatever it is, if you're going to open the box, use the box and then put it and then set it to the side. And after you're done with it. The second thing is ignore any card, rule, or guideline that doesn't help you create. If it's getting in the way of your be able to create something, ignore it. Move on. This is about creativity. It's about breaching out into new ideas. And one of the things that I've loved about this is, and I mentioned this when I got it initially. I've been in a rut with like the same like 3 or 4 character types, and having this has kind of moved me out of that. One of the characters I created is actually the son of a demon, who is effectively his father's end of a devil's bargain with humans, and he's gotten really fucking tired of it and wants to break it. But if he breaks it, he's pretty much done with demons, and he can never be with the angels, and so he just kind of has to live this lie that he's this immortal fucking powerful being, but he's not because he's lost that ability because he betrayed his father because he got sick and tired of dealing with humans.
Bringing this to actually a fantasy book that I have read, this feels, and I did it by accident, I didn't even think about this. This feels a lot like the characters from the Gentleman Bastard series, which the first one is the Lies of Loch Lamora.
Yeah.
It's about this group of thieves and scam artists who kind of grow up together, and they just run scams and shit. It's an interesting. I need to go back because I'd stopped reading it for some reason. I think another book came out that I was more interested in or was looking forward to. I need to go back and read it because I did like it. It just I expected it like there was like some magic with this, and it's pretty low fantasy. Like they just kind of live in this kind of fantastical-ish world with like really like very little magic in the world, but it did remind me of this because this is a lot of like what they like in one of those books. This might have happened. I don't know because I haven't read all the books, but yeah, it reminds me of that.
Bringing in another favorite of ours, anytime I think of skullduggery and thieves and fantasy nowadays, I think of Blades in the Dark. And just like what the things you have to make deals with in order to get some stuff done, maybe even worse than getting the deal done. So yeah, something like that is kind of in play.
Speaking of Blades in the Dark, did you know that there's like an enhanced book or something? They call it like Blades in the Dark something.
I was not aware of that. No.
I don't know if it's like in print or anything, or if you can get the PDF, but it's Blades in the Dark something. And I remember reading on some forums where they talked about it. That might be something worth checking out because I think they expand some things in it. I can't remember what it's called.
So we will close the story engine deck for now. Now we're going to break out the Deck of Worlds. Deck of Worlds is designed to be able to create a location again quick on the quick. And again, this can be done for people running games, game master, storyteller, whatever term you want to use for yourself. Or if you are again engaged in creative writing and you can't really kind of put together a place in your head, kind of let the prompts kind of lead you there, and you kind of do that. So I have given Ethan the Deck of Worlds.
That is me, yes.
All right, so there are 6 card types in this deck. So we're going to start out with the region deck. The regions always have just one thing on them.
Okay.
So and deal out one of those regions. And what region would you get?
We are in the islands.
The islands. Okay, so we're in the islands right now. It's very nice.
Now, is this going to be connected to the story that we generated with?
We can. That's one of the things. It's like we were starting to amass some ideas, and maybe I'll tie them all together.
Okay.
So now the next thing you're going to do is a landmark. This is a 2-choice card. This is going to be geographical sites or points of interest that are in the region.
A town or a pasture.
Okay.
I think we will go with a town.
So a town in the islands. Okay. All right. The next card you're going to want to draw is a namesake card. Namesakes basically combine with regions and landmarks to create in-world nicknames. There's going to be 4 choices on the card, and you can either tie it to the region or to the landmark in that region. So, like for instance, if you have like say the of gold, you could have the islands of gold, or you could have the town of gold. And again, you can extrapolate further from that.
Okay. We got Of Glass, Of Fools, Roaming, and That Knows.
I'm THATKNOWS.
Yes.
Okay. I was imagining a very large nosed people like Jimmy Durante and clones.
I think I like the idea of a roaming island.
A roaming out. Okay, so an island that kind of like moves throughout the sea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I like that idea.
That's
Okay.
a cool idea. I always like that in fantasy when there's like a moving island or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so next thing you're going to draw is an origin card. Origins records significant events of the area's past.
Okay.
First time I used this, I had grasslands, and there was a giant storm that affected the area, and ended up with like a magic tower in there. So they created a life storm that turned the grass carnivorous.
That's interesting.
And so it's called the Field of Teeth.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That is
We got
horrifying.
Yes.
we got originally a temporary settlement built on stolen land, site of an ancient conspiracy, and was once covered in moss.
Some interesting ones.
That once covered in moss seems kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
It's like it was once covered in moss. So
you
we
can
scraped it
definitely
off.
like
It seems lackluster, but I think. But does this attach to the region or to the
Attach it to the region?
To the region, okay. I feel like you could do something with once covered in moss for like an island that's actually like a giant monster that like awoke and is now starting to move or something like that. But that's boring. I want to do site of an ancient conspiracy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
that's the one I was thinking of for a roaming island.
This is where MK Ultra was born. There you go. All right. Now we're going to go to the attribute deck.
This is like that Gamera movie.
Yes. Attributes highlight present day features of the area and its people. So as origins are things that happen in the past, attributes are in the now.
The options are constantly cloudy, pilgrimage destination, theocratic government, and haven for artists.
I have an idea, but it is your card.
I want to do the haven for artists.
Ah,
That's interesting.
That is the idea I had.
Because if my mind is thinking what I'm wanting it to think,
Well, before we get there, let's get to the final card. So the final card to draw is Advents. Advents introduce events that may change the area's future. Each cube provides optional interpretation suggestions in the smaller text. These are basically, this is the conflict that would introduce either the characters coming into it or as the characters are dealing with it, eventually this advent will occur. I believe this is a two-sider each time.
Yes.
You have one or the other.
The options are a showdown of the century is about to take place between rivals. Okay. And people are openly rioting against injustice.
I like both of those.
Yeah.
I just finished Andor, so rioting against injustice is
hot on the mind.
Hot on the mind, because that's basically what that show is.
I'm going to go with the showdown of the century is about to take place between rivals.
All right. So there we go. So we have, let's read it out. So we have what Ethan?
We have a roaming island that was the site of an ancient conspiracy that is now considered a haven for artists with a prominent town on it.
And that the advent for it is going to be?
The advent is the showdown of the century is about to take place between rivals.
Okay. So is it one-on-one rivals, or is this like two groups, or like what are we talking about here?
It could be like with it being a haven for artists. There's like like good sport competition, like who's the best like sculptor, the best painter, the best musician, things like that. So it's
like an artist Olympics.
it maybe perhaps
Like every 4 years, this island roams like to where like people can get to it easily, and so they come together to have giant artist competitions.
It could be like a.
That's what we should do with the real Olympics.
Yeah.
It could be like people see like the island is coming into town near the coastline. People flood to the island, share their music, art, sculptures, and then once they feel that the island's about to move, everyone flees the island as it continues like goes away for the next 2 years or something like that, and then it just comes back and everyone starts doing it all over again.
Okay. What's the ancient conspiracy? This island is very ancient Greek, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Has ancient conspiracies.
It's giving.
artists.
I feel like
damn, what's the fucking game that we played?
Aegon.
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 It's giving Aegon vibes.
Okay. Maybe this would be an island.
Yeah,
like
this could definitely.
like Athena would be the goddess. Maybe.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, you could easily make this one into a shit. I think there's one that's kind of like this.
Holy shit.
There is one of the ones that the pre-made ones where there is like artists. It's an island of like artists and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I can't remember the specifics of it, the conflict, but
I mean, the conspiracy could be just why. How does the island move? Why does it move? Is it like the back of a giant turtle? Is it like ocean currents? Is it tectonic plates moving about? No one can like pinpoint as to what causes the island to move, or why is it on a set rotation, like a set schedule of moving away and then coming back
Okay.
every single like every other year, or how often it comes back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Kind of digging it.
so been kind of brainstorming. So I like the idea of it doesn't roam in that it just like it moves and you can visibly see it moves. It's just like every so many years or decades or even hundreds of years, you could do it however. It just appears, and it always appears in a different location. And people are drawn to the island once it appears. And the ancient conspiracy is that it's the long dead body of an ancient god of the arts, and the people are drawn there. And you could even do something like the winner basically is sacrificed to the island, but it's not like anybody does the You could be like everybody like goes into a trance and they like it's kind of like spoilers for a really old short story, but it's kind of like the lottery.
Well played. Very good.
Well, everyone knows when the island's about to like disappear.
Mhm.
The winner of this showdown remains on the island and disappears with it.
Yeah, you could do that.
Could be
You could do it a couple of different ways.
There you go.
I like the idea of like the body of a dead god
Mhm.
is interesting to me. That's a cool
There you go.
trope.
All right. So that was the deck of world. And now I'm going to move some stuff around, and we're going to break out the Lore Masters deck. Now, Lore Masters deck allows for a little bit more options as far as what you create. Story Engine gives you a character and what their motivations are. World deck of worlds is going to give you what locations and stuff. And the cool thing about the deck of worlds is you can arrange them on you can arrange your clusters of locations on a table.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the let's say above it and to the right, you build another location. So that means in that world toward the northeast, there's this location visually there. It's very intuitive, very
Because the
imaginative.
world comes with like little, or is it the lore one that comes with little?
Yeah, the little connector. So which you can use for deck of worlds.
No,
and
okay,
Story
you can
Engine.
use it
So,
for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Lore Masters deck. So we have a bunch of lores that are in play here. We have, is it 7? Yeah, it is 7. Okay, so we have 7 things. We have factions, figures, events, locations, objects, materials, or creatures. And then you pick one of those, and that is the thing that you are creating. And then certain prompts will then trigger you to get either more of that same type of thing or go to different things. Like maybe it's a creature that was created during a war. So then you're going to have to, or creating some event in time. So you would go over to the event deck, and then you would add that as a descriptor there. And then the cool thing about that is once you're done making the base, the ones that you went to afterwards, you then pull those off, and then you can create lore off of that to kind of flesh that out even more. So it all kind of works out together that way. So that's pretty cool. So factions, figures, events, locations, objects, materials, or creatures. I'm going to start with, let's create an event in time. So we're going to create an event in time. So the first thing I do, shuffle up the event deck, and I will just take the top one when it's done. So the events are an accord, a stampede, a battle, or an annihilation. That's some evocative already going out there. Let's keep it simple. Let's go with a battle. Okay, so once you do it, then you take another event card and you flip it on its side, and then it gives you characteristics to add to that. So a catalyst, a jurisdiction agreement over a disagreement over a location. We have a fallout, which is one figure's moment of glory or failure. Catalyst fallout, we have encroaching ice or darkness, or a trait covered up or erased from history. I like the idea of one figure's moment of failure or glory. Now, because it says figure, we go to the figure deck and we draw that. And so that figure could be an extrovert, an adept, a builder, or an aeronaut. So like we've got already now we've got a little bit of maybe a little sci-fi bent if we want to go that direction, maybe a little bit of aura punk, the idea of an aeronaut going in there. I want to go with a builder. So one figure's moment of glory or failure during this battle. The next descriptor, we have ill-timed joke or laugh, loss of a building or crafting method, one faction's or figure's big gamble, fleeting or lingering. So the event, like the battle, like the effects of it are fleeting, either fleeting, like we're done and gone, or they continue to this day. I like the idea of one faction's or figure's big gamble. We've been doing a lot with solos. Let's get a group in here. So we're going to go with faction. So we have an agency, a flock, a coalition, or the state. The state, if we're going to have a battle, let's have it be a big battle. Let's have a whole nation involved in that. So one faction or figure's big gamble in that one. The next part of the event, notably silent or loud, belief in a false prediction or prophet, faction founding a new nation or headquarters, or staple food ingredient or species depleted. I really like faction founding or a new nation or headquarters. So we're going to put that, and then we're going to go with location. So it's a faction founding or a new faction founding a new nation or a headquarters. Excuse me. This is a combo. So we need an actual faction, and then we also need the thing that was founded. So we have patrol, a block, BLOC, an ensemble, or an institute. So an institute. Got vault, guild hall, pavilion, wilds. Guild hall seems very simple there. So we have so one of the things that came out of this battle was an institute founding a guild hall. All right. The final event descriptor: sudden scarcity of a resource or type of object, misunderstood at the time, greed of a notable figure, or smoking crater or ruin. Ooh, this one's close. Smoking crater or ruin is more evocative, but the greed of a notable figure may have caused it. I'm going to go with the greed of a notable figure.
Which causes another figure to be drawn.
Another figure. So we have a mechanic, an oligarch, a healer, or the other one is ambassador. Oligarch.
Yep.
Let's just show all our political leanings. Anyway, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our little story club.
I'm glad you got this one because I probably couldn't explain this shit.
Yes, this is a battle of which involved one figure's moment of glory or failure, and this was a builder working in this. It involves one faction or figure's big gamble. The state took a big gamble on this one. It is a faction's founding a new nation or headquarters. We determined that to be an institute founded a guild hall involved in this. And then finally, it started due to the greed of a notable figure. that being an oligarch. We have a lot to parse out there. Where do we want to begin? Do we want to name the battle? And that kind of maybe cascades the ideas of it. So we have a battle involving builders, states, institutes, guild halls, and oligarchs.
Yeah. My idea with the builder was that one side won because he created some weapon that they were able to use to get an advantage over the enemy.
Okay.
That was the thing that's the main thing that popped into my head when it came to this whole thing.
Are we talking practical or magical weapon?
It could be magical, something that hasn't been seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that would
see. Whenever I think of fantastical weapons, I think of the mirrors that Archimedes established at Syracuse that sent burning light into the boats trying to go into Syracuse. Mm-hmm. If stories are to be believed,
yeah.
So instead of like it being sunlight, maybe it was some sort of magical, maybe something like orichalcum or something like that that allows them to like basically have fantasy space lasers.
It could be, yes. So they use a resource to make this magic thing that the oligarch wanted.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they sent their armies to take it, and they were able to use that substance, the orichalcum or whatever to make the item. This one guy figured out how to make the item that gave them the I like the underdog army, so like the smaller army that really didn't have a chance was able to
the defending smaller army
was able to get an advantage when they didn't have the advantage numbers wise.
Okay, is it the state that's defending the items? Is that their big gamble, or is it the attacking army or armies is the bigger gamble?
That's the part that's a little bit more difficult. To me, the state would be the attacker if you're having a smaller, or it could be, there have been plenty of like fantasy things where like it's been a smaller nation. Maybe this is like a smaller nation that is, and I have some of this in my brain also because reading the memory called Empire, there's
that and Andor feel like they fold up pretty well.
It's about,
you could make it to where the state is the defender, and so it could be like a large country with an oligarch as the ruler. He figures out that, hey, this one builder he figured it out. He made the ultimate weapon. I want this.
Yeah.
He sends his armies to go retrieve either the builder or the weapon, and the state is standing up for the builder, trying to protect their own from the corrupt greediness.
Yeah,
and so you could turn it like that.
And the outcome of the battle is that a institute for this.
Maybe he's the founder of the institute.
He's the founder of the institute that goes on to like teach how to work with this material.
There we go.
Yeah.
Some sort of like weird takeoff on it, the word engineer.
Yeah.
I think about how in Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Earthbender Toph, she learns how to metal bend, and she creates in between that time she starts a school that teaches Earthbenders how to metal bend. That's kind of where I got the inspiration for that from.
Okay. Which is never a bad thing, but yeah.
No.
Yeah. Now, in addition to the 7 decks, there's also a deck of descriptors, which is the only thing out of all this that is optional, as far as like you don't have to put this as part of what you're going in with there. I think if you can't figure out like a facet of one of these things, I think it's a good idea. But I also think that leaving that door open and allowing it to kind of come to you naturally, I think is a better overall thing. But if you absolutely need it, it is there. So again, it's another thing I compliment the Story Engine people for putting this together. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. What is the name of this battle? Let's name the battle before we leave this.
When it comes to battles, there's usually a couple of Like the battle, there's always like the battle of whatever the location is.
Yeah.
Because you have the battle of Pelennor Fields in Return of the King. The battle of Helm's Deep. You know,
if you want a slightly deep cut in Warhammer, there's the Battle of Finneval Plain, where the High Elves were able to start turning back the Dark Elf host, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. But then there's also something. It could be like the thing that turned the tide. So
like
we've been kind of general. I guess we could like figure out what the actual material / weapon is. And it could also be named after that. That's oftentimes, what battles are often named for.
You know what? Let's create a material.
Mm-hmm. That sounds good.
Okay. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, okay. So this one, like the other ones on this are drug, fleece, flower, or stone. So it's a stone.
Okay.
Okay. Melting or coagulating properties, memory affecting properties, discovered while building or settling a location, or sourced from creatures, nests, hives, or webs.
I feel like for the purpose of this, it would have to be like discovered while building something.
Okay, so maybe founding the area that
maybe
yeah.
The builder found this material.
Okay, so we're gonna we have fortress, city, gulf, or homestead. I like gulf. Because this puts it on the water, and for me that's more like, oh, I look out my window, oh, I see water there. So it's a stone material found in the Gulf, and they found it while they were building maybe this was only supposed to be like a watch post, and because of this stuff, like it made it so that people could start, settling there more. So there we go.
Something like a lighthouse.
The world is getting like more defined the more we do this. Trait: only obtainable 1 day a year. Explosive / corrosive when combined with a material. Responsible for the properties of an object or used to facilitate or mitigate an event. Well, if it's like we probably want to combine it with another material to make things blow up, because that's probably how we defended it.
Yeah. The builder could be the one who figured out
she's sliding on me. Don't worry about
how
it.
to work with
the
that.
builder actually learned what the properties of this.
Yeah, he figured out the
material to combine it with will either be fuel, mortar, fur, or broth. I know which one I'm thinking, but I want to see what everyone else wants.
For me, it's either the mortar or fuel.
Yeah,
I'm thinking mortar.
You're thinking mortar. I'm thinking broth. I'm thinking I'm tired of work. I've got to figure it out. And he had some soup and he spilled it on it, and it just but the reason why I think about that is if you put sodium in water, it explodes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's like but it's like a specific broth with specific thing. We won't go into that now, but it's like you mix soup and this material, and you get murder. It's like, all right, trait: used in hair care, skin care, or beauty. Trait: renewable or sustainable resource. Exclusively harvested or mined in one location, or a notable figure has a lethal allergy to it.
I like the mined, and I think mined in a specific location.
This Gulf is the only place where you find this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that'll go back on. So Gulf will actually we'll do with both of those. So there we go. All right, final bit. Used in making a tool or musical instrument. Requires a specialized container of a material, food source of a species, or origin of a fad or economic bubble.
What's the first option again?
The first option was used in making a tool or musical instrument.
What was the second one again?
Requires a specialized container.
I think that one fits best with what we're looking for.
So requires a specialized container of a material. I know what that material isn't. Broth.
Yeah.
Oh, he had 2 thermoses. One had this, and he accidentally put it in the thermos of broth and created a bomb.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a mixture of like fish oils and spices.
They just created Molotov cocktails. I think we've accidentally
Wait, hold on,
did that.
Hold on. It has to be contained in a special material. That material is either made out of juice,
Okay.
soap, cobbles, or a tusk. We are bound by the cards, even though we
Okay.
could just say, let's do another card, but we're bound by card now.
Oh no, I forgot my metal bucket. Good thing I have this elephant tusk with me.
Yeah.
Like real talk, Greeks used gourds, hollowed out gourds after they were done like eating them. They like the husk part of it would be used as bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the term bottle gourd comes from, or the because of literally what I just said.
So I'm hearing tusks.
Tusks. So like there's walruses in this area.
Near the
Yeah.
Well,
Gulf.
it is good near the Gulf.
Near the
so
Gulf.
That fits.
There you go. All right, let's name the material.
See stuff like this is where I falter.
A stone found in the Gulf that reacts with broth and can only be held in tusks.
Well, we don't know that yet. He finds that out.
Mm-hmm.
So
It might be easier to start with the
plot contrivancum.
Deus Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machinum. Or Machinite. Machinite. Okay, we've got it.
Okay.
We've got it. Machinite.
Yep,
there we go. All right. So
we did it.
So,
We did it.
so they're trying to steal the Machinite, but they found out that if you drop it in fish broth, you're gonna kill some people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
So they
So the Battle of the Machinite Gulf.
So yeah, we kind of just created Molotov cocktails because my idea is like you carve out the tusk, and you have the tusk full of the broth, and then you drop the stones in the broth and throw it. It's basically Molotov cocktail slash grenades.
But they're spear-like because it's tusks.
Yeah.
So, oh man, this is great.
Yeah, you put them in like a spear, like it's a tusk, that's on like a spear haft.
Yeah.
And you throw them and it takes a little while and they throw them and it just explodes. It's like the fucking sticks on Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
It's like the explosive sticks.
So we've created the Battle of Machinite Gulf,
Mm-hmm.
where a engineering dude and his engineering buddies saved a city
Mm-hmm.
from being overrun by mixing up magical rocks with fish broth
Mm-hmm.
and putting them in the tusks of walruses.
Mm-hmm.
In this, to make it more sustainable and to make it so that I like it more, walruses shed their tusks every 6 months, so
Yeah.
that you don't have to kill them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're like deer antlers.
Yes.
They're like shark teeth where you pull one out and it just grows
Just
right
grow
back.
right
Immediately
back.
grows
Yeah.
back.
One immediately just like curls up and
There you
comes
go.
out.
This also implies the notion that walruses have like many tusks inside of them.
This could even be like a symbiotic relationship that they have with the walrus creatures.
Are they sentient? Do we have sentient walruses?
It could be sentient where like
Did
like
you
I said,
think we would come up with sentient walruses
No.
44 minutes ago?
No, I did not.
No.
That's
No.
the power. That's
No.
the power of these
I
things.
also
But
didn't think we were going to invent Machinite.
Yeah.
Machinite,
chicken broth.
the Gulf of Machinite.
That's
maybe,
definitely in a Final Fantasy.
maybe the Gulf of Machinite is where the island appears.
Perhaps.
And then it's this place. Like now, I think about it's like the Babylon
Is
5.
this the ancient conspiracy?
No, you've
Okay.
gone too far, too fast. Go in the
did.
corner. Go in the corner.
On the corner.
Go in the
Gotcha.
corner right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. He's in the corner. He's not in the corner, but they don't know. So okay, there you go. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that is a presentation of the Story Engine deck and the Deck of Worlds and the Lore Masters deck. What do we?
It has a quote from the guy who created the Wicked and the Divine, which
Yeah.
is a very interesting comic.
Yeah. No, this is. I will say this: like there are other ways to go about doing stuff like this. This for me was a lot easier. Like the first time I saw an ad for it, it's like, oh, it's a simple stuff, and then just let your mind go. And
Yeah.
Because a lot of times for a lot of people, that's the hardest part of it is getting the initial idea.
Yeah, I don't usually go about like creating my own thing when it comes to like say an RPG or anything like that, and I don't do much like writing, even though I like the idea of it. Like one of the things that like doesn't the one of the reasons why like I've I don't really go near like solo RPGs is because they're all basically a journaling exercise, which I don't have anything against. It's just not my thing, and a lot of it is because I am bad at like starting things. And the good thing about this is that this starts ideas. I think I'm decently good at when I'm given like a starting point, I can elaborate from that, and that's a good thing that's a cool thing that these do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a little bit too lazy to like create my own world and shit, but
that's fair.
But it is like a cool starting place.
Well, one thing I like about this is like, let's say you have your own world, and you've got a game coming up, and you don't have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes again, it's like, especially something with what you've already established in your head, you want to go back to certain specific things just because it's easier to get out of your head. This for me has allowed me to like do things outside of that comfort zone that I developed, and it's expanding the level of things that I feel that I can incorporate into my stories just by doing that.
Because even if you do like you said, you have a few things that you're comfortable with, so you go back to those when you're creating a story or anything like that. Human beings tend to think in tropes, and once you find tropes that you feel familiar with, you're going to go back to the well a lot. And this is a way to like expand from that and not have everything be, the same 3-4 characters every single time. So I do appreciate that. These are very cool things that I think are very useful. I would never buy them because I just like I'm too lazy to like create my own full story or anything like that.
The appeal,
but
for
I do
me,
appreciate that they exist.
The appeal for me is,
and it's a fun little exercise. It gets your brain working.
Yeah, and to me, like just this, it works really well with other people because y'all can kind of like
collaborative. It's another way to do collaborative storytelling.
I would love to pair this with Fabula Ultima, which has a very similar way of how you build a world at the start of the game. And so if people are having an issue with that, no, just go to the deck of worlds or go to the story engine deck and like create something or somebody out of that. But for me, like off and on since I've been in college, every so often I just like, I get ideas in my head and I just want to write them down. Like, and sometimes I have an idea in my head, but it's only kind of half formed and I don't want to put it down on paper because call it perfectionism or just call it's not complete. And I would want it to be complete before I put it on. So when I'm like doing creative writing, this stuff has also been kind of great. Like I said, just right before I go to bed, like 15 to 30 minutes with this, create a prompt, create a thing, write it out, just a little blurb on it. And it feels like I've created something that day.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
I mean, that's probably a really helpful way to get yourself prepared for bed. Cause it's not like, your face in front of a screen, so you don't have that, and you're flexing your creative muscles, so to speak. So yeah,
there you go. Ethan, any final thoughts?
When I was a part of a creative writing course when I was at the JC, and I absolutely struggled. Like one of the things I cannot do is like. Creative thinking is one of the like harder things for me to do on my own because it's more so like we were saying, like I know of all these tropes and I always like stick with like group of heroes on a quest, person that's wanting to make a name for themselves. I never like steer away from those like traditional trope ideas, and it's more so like the more run of the mill routine like. Danger comes, a hero step forwards, saves the day. Everything's all good in the kingdom. It's more so like thinking outside of my normal way of thinking for stories, and it was especially hard for me when I was doing my homebrew D&D campaign because it was more so me trying to put things that I've experienced into the game, but just with like a few different tweaks. But like something like this could absolutely help like those that struggle with that creative process with making their own worlds, expanding on their already existing worlds. And so I really like this.
Yeah.
I do.
I feel you, Ethan, and it's the same thing. A lot of times when I've come up with a character, a lot of times I just have a basic concept for like a character that I'm playing in an RPG and just build off of there. But sometimes I have straight up, hey, I'm playing this character, and luckily my tastes are esoteric enough that nobody knows who the fuck this is. I'm not even going to change his fucking name. There was one time we did like a couple of sessions. Greg was running a game, and I was a bard, and I was basically the main character from The Name of the Wind. I didn't even change his fucking name. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna be a bard, and that's this guy. I mean, that's who he is. So yeah, I'm just gonna be him. But this is a good way to get another framework of, like with what I did, I took little it's better. Like, it's not wrong to take things from other stories. Like, I can't remember, was it Picasso said that the great artists steal, but it's taking pieces. It's better to take pieces from different things and put them into a different whole than it is to just steal outright. So this is a way to do that, to take little pieces of, okay, I like this little part from this story, so I'm going to take that part. So that's something that I like about this.
There you go. So yes, so if you enjoyed it, if you liked the kind of creativity that was going on here, let me give you the website storyenginedeck.com. Again, that is all one word, storyenginedeck.com. You can purchase the decks over there as well, as long as everything else. And again, this was not a paid for advertisement. This is something I paid for because I wanted to expand my creative writing juices, and I think this has done a very good job for me.
But hey, if anybody who is involved with the Story Engine company listens to this,
we have an email.
You can sponsor us.
Yeah,
we will not say no to that.
Yes, and we will, everything will be above board. We will say that you're now sponsoring us and all that stuff like that.
You can sponsor us after this episode comes out, so that we don't have to like put little prompts in the beginning of it.
There you go.
But
we'll make it. We'll do a.
But we are for sale. Building. We are for sale. I just want to. We're not worth much, but we are for sale.
Why would you say one?
$2.
Why
$2.
One? Why would you say we're for sale? Two? Why would you set the price so low?
I didn't set a price.
You said not much. That's not.
I've seen our viewer count. I know our worth.
$2.50 at least. Ethan fucking selling us out for just $2. $2.50. I want some pennies and ducats in that goddamn.
See, you negotiate by not giving a price outright. You let them set, and then you move. That's the power move. I don't know if it is or not. Don't take advantage for.
In addition to other unpaid but somehow compensated previews, so we'd like to thank MacNarb Gaming in Goshen, Mississippi, for providing us with this fine studio space from which we record this show to present to you, our passengers on the omnibus, because we are travelers on the omnibus. Mm-hmm. What new things? I know there's by the time this comes out, this will already happen. There's like a modern tournament on Saturday. Is there any new it's another month. So what's coming out for Magic the Gathering this month?
They got the end of this month. They have the Final Fantasy pre-release.
So that'll happen at the end of this month. Okay.
End of this month. I believe it's the 29th. I think
so.
I want 4 giant cactar.
Yep.
Giant the jumbo cactars. Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
I want the traveling chocobos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make the bird tribal.
Oh yeah, that's a good card. They've got the I can't remember what it's called, but it's the cooperative version of King of Tokyo.
Yes, and it's like Monster Island
or something like that, where you're all like things trying to fight this monster, this giant, lava monster looking thing.
In the world of Pokemon, good luck.
They still don't have Pokemon product?
No.
Is this like a global thing?
Yes.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Just
what happened?
Watch some of those videos of the fucking.
Oh, it's amazing.
They'll drop
it's amazing.
Like a Sam's Club or a Costco. Like they'll
drop a pallet and people will flood.
God
to the
damn it.
Yeah. Adults.
Yeah, no.
Nothing but scalping.
No, because children go crazy, but adults, when they go crazy with a purpose.
Yeah.
They go crazy with money.
There you go. Yeah. So what you're saying is just get rid of the money and just give them the Pokemon cards direct. There
Yeah.
you go.
Well, I mean, money is fake. We made it.
How
up.
many of these people would prefer payment in Pokemon packs and not money?
I don't know the correct number, but I'm pretty sure people would prefer that.
There you go.
Mhm.
All righty then. Ladies and gentlemen, next week we will be reviewing the Jim Henson classic, The Dark Crystal, to close out Fantasy Month for this month of May, which I initially called March, which I think was funny. But Fantastic Fantasy Month comes to an end with The Dark Crystal, and I think that is apropos. If I can get Greek for a second.
Never seen it, so I'm excited.
Oh, you've never
What
seen
the
it.
fuck,
That's
man?
why we decided on the Dark Crystal.
No,
I
I,
don't
I just
remember
thought
that.
I remember. Dark Crystal is awesome, and so it's great.
I
And
don't
then-
remember you ever mentioning that you've never watched.
Yeah, because
That's
this
like
would
the
this would
whole
happen.
reason why we chose the Dark Crystal.
If I'd have known you'd never seen the Dark Crystal, that would probably have been my 1, 2, and 4 on my movies Ethan should watch. With 3 being Die Hard still, but
I would prefer you to like go back in time and watch it as a child so you could be scarred by it. Because I was, so you know.
Look up Sexy Skeksis.
Don't look that up. Don't look that up. Nobody look that up. I'm not even like keeping with the bit.
Sexy Skeksis.com.
I don't like what this is
Gelfling
implying.
friend.
Gelfling friend.
I don't like what
Fucking
this is implying.
Skeksis. Jesus
Sexy
Christ.
Skeksis. There you go. I don't want to end on sunset. I just want to say like who we are and get out of here. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, the bus is rolling into the station. We are Travelers on the Omnibus. My name is James McCarthy.
I'm Bray Davis.
I'm Ethan Skinner.
Jody, get well soon, brother. Thanks for stopping by and enjoying the ride, guys.
Bye.
What is an adjective in front of Skeksis you'd be okay with?
I don't think there is one.
What about fashionable Skeksis? I almost said
No.
fashionable sexy. Fashionable.
Sketchy.
You wouldn't want
Sketchy
a
Skeksis.
Skeksis with like a top hat and tails.
No.
Why not?
Because I don't want a Skeksis.
Well, you don't own them. You just like, oh, that's a cool.
I don't
want to
be anywhere near a fucking Skeksis.
Now I'm just thinking of like dapper Skeksis, like top hat, monocle, cane.
There is one with a. No, he has glasses.
He has glasses. Yeah,
The science Skeksis
No,
has glasses.
Yeah.
Specifically has to be.
that's how you
monocle.
know he's a science.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's not a lie.
That's pretty much.